Recent studies in Africa have shown that circumcision can dramatically reduce the risk of HIV infection. Based on these stunning findings, New York City health officials are suggesting that all men get circumcised for better health. Joining us for more insight is Dr. Thomas Coates, director of the UCLA program in global health. Dr. Coates, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about how circumcision works to prevent HIV.
Well, circumcision essentially protects the man. By cutting off the foreskin, you're cutting off a bit of tissue that HIV really likes. So what we have learned over many years of study, and I have to tell you this is as good a science as it ever gets, that men who are circumcised are about 50% less likely to catch HIV from a female partner than men who are not circumcised.
The studies were done in Africa. Is this applicable to men in the United States?
Well, certainly, because the mode of transmission in this case was penile vaginal sex, penis in vagina. So certainly it would apply to any kind of heterosexual transmission from females to males here. What we don't know is if it applies to anal sex, that is, if the man inserts his penis into someone else's rectum, if it's protective then, but we have every reason to believe that it should be.
New York City has looked at these findings, and there's actually discussions going on right now in New York City about whether or not the local government should be recommending this. What's your take on that?
Well, I think the evidence is really, really strong that male circumcision is protective. There's other evidence to suggest that men who are circumcised have fewer ulcers on their penis and therefore are less likely to transmit or acquire other diseases. There's also some evidence to suggest that men who are circumcised are less likely to pass on human papillomavirus that causes cervical cancer to their partners. So there are a number of really probably pretty substantial health benefits that come with male circumcision.
Dr. Coates, when we think about circumcision in this country, I think we're usually thinking about babies and something that's done to baby boys soon after they're born. Is this something that adult men would be willing to do?
Well, they're lining up in Africa now that the results are out. Swaziland, Lesotho, two countries with the highest prevalence of HIV, men are lined up. Apparently there's a year's wait to get circumcised. In Uganda, where one of the studies was done, the women are bringing their male partners in and asking that they be circumcised. They say not only for safety purposes, but they actually like it better.
But it doesn't eliminate the need to use condoms, does it?
Absolutely not. What we're moving into, and I think everyone should understand this, is just as we use combination therapy, that is multiple drugs for people who have HIV, we're moving into an era of combination prevention. That is circumcision plus condoms, plus reducing the number of partners, plus reducing substance use. Many things working together are important to reduce the transmission of HIV.
Circumcision is something that, of course, has such strong religious and cultural overtones. Is it going to be hard to convince men who, who are not sort of born into religious groups for whom this is sort of standard?
Well, it may be. We don't know. I think if men understand that it's beneficial to them, that it may reduce their chances of getting HIV and thereby make them healthier, men are often quite willing to do things that protect their health if they're shown the benefits. Obviously, no one should be forced to do something they don't want to do, and if men don't want to get circumcised, they don't have to get circumcised, nor should anybody force them to do that. But I think, many men will, and it may become more of a cultural trend. There's about half the population now of the male population gets circumcised at birth, and I think the American Academy of Pediatrics at one point reversed their decision or their recommendation and said there's no health benefit to getting circumcised at birth, and I think they have to revisit those recommendations. Obviously, circumcision at birth or shortly after birth is a much safer, easier procedure, and I think it would bring substantial health benefits to the population. Adult circumcision is a little more complicated, requires more healing time, but I think men will some men will see the benefits of that, and if we can get it to some men, that's an accomplishment. Nothing is perfect.
You mentioned health benefits. Are there other health benefits?
There are certainly other health benefits, certainly. Sometimes there are complications, and circumcision is indicated because of the foreskin adhering to the penis itself. Men who are circumcised are less likely to catch ulcerative diseases like syphilis or chancroid. They're less likely to have herpes eruptions. They're less likely to pass human papillomavirus on to their partners. There are a lot of reasons that circumcision is a good hygienic practice. Some say it's bodily mutilation, that we shouldn't be cutting off the foreskin. Nature put it there. But nature put a lot of things in us that we ultimately surgically removed. Nature gave us an appendix that erupts and kills people. Nature gave us a gallbladder that sometimes needs to be removed. Nature gave us kidney stones that needs to be removed. We do surgery for a lot of reasons, and this is a clear health benefit. I have to tell you that if this were a vaccine, and the vaccine were shown 50% effective, President Bush would have been announcing it in the Rose Garden. This is as good as it gets in HIV prevention, and we should be encouraging people to understand this and take advantage of it. This is as good as it gets.
Dr. Coates, it's certainly fascinating. I think it's something we're going to be talking about a lot more. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.